All right. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome to our Carver Discipleship Review, where we are kind of reflecting on some of the discussions, some of the thoughts that we had in our uh, last Bible, not Bible study, last discipleship discussion. And so we were in Daniel, still dealing with the book of Daniel, and we kind of got into our first lesson. And so this week you can see it. We were in Daniel chapter 1, looking at verses 8 through 21. Very familiar passage. Um, what's known to most as the Daniel fast. So that was kind of the scriptures, the verses that were used. One of the questions that the book asks, and I think it brought out a lot of good discussion in our session, was why is explaining the beliefs behind our actions so important? And like explaining the beliefs behind our action. And so if you just look at, Daniel and what he did without any like explanation, without any context of why he's doing it, then that really doesn't help you. That really doesn't help people because they don't know why. They could follow and try and do what Daniel is doing, but Daniel was doing it for a specific reason, and he had a specific belief and purpose behind it. And so we must be careful as disciples, as believers, that we're not just doing things just because we saw somebody else do it, just because we heard or we're told to do it, but we should understand the belief behind it. We should understand the why we're doing it, because you can mislead people. You can lead people astray just based off of something you're doing with no belief behind, but you just doing it because you saw somebody else do it. And now you're enforcing this same belief on somebody else, telling them, no, you have to do this. And then like, well, why? And I don't just do it. It's part of, what you have to do. But it leads people astray, and it basically turns into this rule-based religion, which is kind of like what the Pharisees had going on. It was all based off of these rules that drew you closer to God by keeping all these rules that they made up. And so just looking at this lesson and looking at Daniel, just understanding, like I say, I think even the term fast is, I'm a little more careful just looking at these verses, um, because we typically, I think sometimes for us, when it comes to fasting, we're typically in the mindset of like doing this to receive something. And, you know, just these verses gives us a different perspective of, what Daniel was trying to do and what he was trying to accomplish. But it just opened my eyes. Like I've heard this taught and preached, and like I say, you hear the term Daniel fast, and even that, like when we, sometimes do it, we would take it and want to like change it from originally what it was. And want to make it more comfortable for us, want to make it like so that everybody can kind of fall into it and do it, instead of kind of the way that Daniel and the way that they did it. The three Israelites that were with them that also participated in it. And so it was a really good discussion. We heard points of views from different people of just that concept of explaining their beliefs, and not just enforcing it and putting it on other people. So that was a one of the parts of the discussion that we talked about. Eric, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, just along those very same lines as what you were bringing up. You use the term understand, and that's such an important term, I think, especially when it comes to talking about our beliefs. So there's our actions, And sometimes as Richard was just saying, sometimes the actions aren't bad, but if you don't understand the beliefs behind it,
Yeah.
even your good actions can be misunderstood. It can be misinterpreted. Um, and so the one point I think I would just make and really want to get across is that our beliefs, in order to explain your beliefs to someone, that means you have to understand your beliefs. You have to
Mhm.
know what you believe and be able to explain it and break it down for someone else. Um, Talk to someone else about what you believe. Like you have to know it first. Um, and so, like Richard said, there are some things like, yeah, you see other people do, and it might be good. And maybe it would help you if you emulated them or tried to be like them. But then there are certain things that just because you see someone else do doesn't mean it's good for you. It doesn't mean it's even good for them. They may just be doing stuff. Um so being able to explain your beliefs, explain why you are doing what you are doing. In the story that we're talking about, Daniel explained why he was doing what he was doing to the person that was in charge. He had to get that person to see his perspective in order to allow him to do what he was trying to do. He didn't
Yeah.
just decide, I'm just going to do it. Like, I don't care what happens. Like, no, he explained, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I love the part we discussed, and Richard brought it up. Daniel was not doing, he didn't take the stance that he did, to not eat the king's food because he was trying to get something from God. He was doing what he was doing because he was taking a stand for God. He was
Yeah.
letting everyone know, I may be in Babylon, but I still believe in the God of Israel. And so I'm
Mhm.
going to take a stand. I'm going to stay committed, even though we're in this strange land, we're exiles, we're foreigners. I'm still going to stay committed. Um, and so it was not to receive anything. It wasn't, oh, after this Daniel fast, I'm going to get this. He wasn't expected to get anything. But
Yeah.
if you read the story, you see God did give. God
Yeah.
gave them wisdom and understanding, gave them favor with the king. But that wasn't the point. That they weren't saying after this fast is over, we're gonna have wisdom and understanding. They didn't, that was not the goal. But
Yeah.
they did, God chose to honor their commitment by giving them those things. So yeah, just we had great discussion. Um, we missed a lot of you. We don't know where you were. We missed you, but we, you know, we are encouraged because the discussion that we had was really, it was great discussion. It had a lot of substance to it. And so, we'll be looking for you again this Saturday. Please go to, if you haven't already, the Canvas, our learning environment. We will post one of the questions from our discipleship guide there, and we hope that you'll answer it, and engage with our learning environment. Those of you who may have asked questions on our site, we trust me, we will get back to you. We will respond to all of your questions. We'll keep a close eye on it to make sure it's a pretty close turnaround between when you ask a question and when you get an answer. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, we look forward to seeing you Saturday. Check in with our Canvas site throughout the week. And yeah, our next lesson, and you can see it posted on the screen, Daniel chapter 3, verses 14 through 26. Very familiar. if you're familiar with Daniel, well, it's not the most famous one. That would be the Lion's Den, but Fiery Furnace is a close second. So
Yeah.
we look forward to really um, looking at that with the microscope, like really the fine details, really trying to break it apart and make sure we understand so that we could explain. So yeah, we appreciate you for always joining with us. Anything else, Rich?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, you all have a great rest of your Monday, and hopefully we'll see you Saturday.